Guys, Sophie the Trophy, one half of the Blonde Bombers, coming out and exposing her truth with this Bria Hartley situation, and she's also letting it be known the behind the scenes and what's really going on with Caitlyn Clark's injury.
Sophie Cunningham just lit a fire under the WNBA, and fans cannot believe what she revealed. One half of the Blonde Bombers didn't hold back at all. She spoke on the Bria Hartley situation, exposed what's really happening behind the scenes, and dropped a shocking truth about Caitlyn Clark's injury that has everyone questioning her entire future in the league. We're not talking about fouls or cheap shots anymore. We're talking about the possibility of the WNBA's biggest star walking away from the game completely. Yes, you heard that right. Caitlyn Clark's career in this league may be far shorter than anyone imagined, and now fans are in absolute panic mode because if Sophie is right, the entire foundation of the WNBA could collapse overnight.
Dude, I don't know. Everyone keeps asking, everyone's like, you know, and I'm like, literally, she doesn't even know. Like, it's just like a day by day legit type of thing. And so, yeah, she's close, but like, you also have to remember, like, she could be playing if it wasn't in the WNBA by now, but like at this level with how deep and like how good people are nowadays in our league, which is the best it's ever been, like you can't just be good, you have to be on top of your game. And so just trying to get her back in game shape, I think is what they're trying to do. But like, again, it's literally a day by day. I'm not holding out any information. I just look.
Sophie Cunningham has officially become the league's truth teller, the player who isn't afraid to say what others only whisper. She's already been fined so many times. She's practically the WNBA's personal ATM machine. Yet, instead of backing down, she doubled down and dropped a reality check that fans can't ignore. She made it clear Caitlyn Clark's injury isn't just about bad luck. It's about a system that refuses to protect its biggest star. And when Sophie says even Caitlyn doesn't know when she'll return, that isn't a casual update, that's a warning siren, because day by day can quickly turn into week by week, and before anyone realizes it, the season could be gone. Fans don't need doctors to understand what's happening here. They see the bruises, they see the endless hits, and they know this isn't sustainable for a player carrying the entire league on her shoulders. And Sophie didn't stop there. She flat out said, the only reason Caitlyn isn't already back on the floor is because this league has turned basketball into rugby. She's forced to put on more protective gear than some NFL players just to survive a single game. And the crazy part is that armor is what led to her getting hurt in the first place. Think about that for a second. The WNBA markets itself as elite basketball, but what fans actually see is body slams, constant hacking, and referees who act blind until it's too late. Sophie even admitted that Caitlyn's return isn't measured in weeks or a set timetable. It's literally day by day, and that kind of uncertainty terrifies fans. Because everyone knows day by day is just another way of saying nobody has answers, and her season could vanish before anyone realizes what just happened. What really shook people was when Sophie suggested Caitlyn might already be healthy enough to play if this wasn't the WNBA. That statement hit like a dagger because it exposed the truth fans have suspected for months. In almost any other league or sport, she'd likely be back competing. But here, the rules, the officiating, and the non-stop politics make recovery nearly impossible. Instead of celebrating that Caitlyn fills every arena she steps into, the conversation has turned into whether she'll even play again this season or if she'll even want to come back next year. And that's the nightmare nobody wants to face. Because without Caitlyn, the league doesn't just lose a player, it loses its heartbeat, its ratings, its relevance. Everything that makes the WNBA matter right now is tied to her being on that court. And Sophie went even further, pointing out the double standard that fans have been screaming about all season. She can't even mention Paige Buchers without getting slapped with another fine, while Angel Reese can openly say Caitlyn gets a special whistle and nothing happens. Coaches explode on referees and it's brushed off. But the second Sophie makes a joke or points out obvious favoritism, her bank account takes another hit. That's not discipline. That's targeting. And when the targeting always circles back to Caitlyn Clark, it starts to look personal, The league wants to act shocked when Sophie says Caitlyn might walk away, but how else is she supposed to react when every game feels like survival? And the officials treat her more like an enemy than the superstar face of the sport. The uncomfortable truth Sophie exposed is that Caitlyn Clark doesn't actually need the WNBA. It's the WNBA that desperately needs her. The ticket sales, the television ratings, the merchandise boom, all of it exploded the moment she arrived. Without her, the Indiana Fever slide right back into irrelevance, and half the arenas go back to being half empty. Caitlyn is the reason casual fans finally tuned in. She's the reason every single game feels like an event. And yet, instead of protecting her, the league has allowed her to be hacked, shoved, and punished for daring to fight back. Fans aren't blind. They see the whistles Paige gets, they see the special treatment others receive, and then they see Caitlyn paying the price every single night. Sophie just said out loud what fans have been screaming for months. This is a double standard so obvious it could destroy the league if it continues. And here's where it gets even scarier for the league. Caitlyn Clark is too smart to waste her career getting bullied by referees and resented by teammates. She has options, real options. She could pack her bags tomorrow and head to Europe, where the seasons are shorter, the paychecks are bigger, and the respect is instant. Imagine her lighting up arenas in Spain or Turkey while American fans stay up at 3 a.m. just to stream her games. That would be humiliating for the WNBA. And that's not even the only path. Caitlyn has already hinted at her love for golf. She could pull a Paige Spiranak move, cash in on sponsorships, build her brand, and make tens of millions without ever taking another elbow to the face. The nightmare for the WNBA isn't just losing her to Europe, it's losing her to a different sport or lifestyle altogether. Because the moment she decides her body and her mind are worth more than this league's chaos, the WNBA collapses overnight. And the signs are already flashing bright red. The injury reports make no sense. One day she's questionable, the next day it's day-to-day with no real explanation. Sophie admitted straight up that nobody truly knows when or if Caitlyn will be back. And that's not bad luck, that's pure incompetence. The league is failing its biggest asset while trying to spin vague updates that fool no one. Fans see the patterns. They see the missed film sessions, they see the confusion, and they know something is seriously off. Instead of being transparent, the WNBA hides behind injury labels while their star sits in limbo. And the longer this drags on, the more people start asking the question nobody at the top wants to hear. Is Caitlyn Clark even going to risk her future for a league that refuses to protect her in the present? The pressure Caitlyn is carrying right now is unlike anything we've ever seen in women's sports. She's the face of Nike, State Farm, Gatorade, ESPN. The entire WNBA brand rests on her shoulders. Every game is national television. Every foul turns into a trending debate. Every move she makes is dissected by millions of fans and trolls online, and that kind of weight breaks even the strongest athletes. Just look at Simone Biles, Naomi Osaka, Serena Williams. All of them had moments where the pressure boiled over. Caitlyn isn't immune, and that's exactly why Sophie's words shook the league, because they weren't just wild speculation, they were a reflection of reality. If Caitlyn wakes up tomorrow and decides she's done, fans wouldn't be mad. They'd cheer her on. They'd say, protect your body, protect your mind. The league never protected you. But the WNBA would be left with nothing but empty arenas and sponsors pulling out. Sophie Cunningham didn't start a rumor. She sounded the alarm that Caitlyn Clark might walk away. And fans are finally realizing that future could be closer than anyone wants to admit. So here's the brutal truth. Sophie Cunningham just said out loud what fans have been whispering for months. Caitlyn Clark might not stick around, and if she doesn't, the WNBA is finished, because no other player right now moves the needle the way she does. Angel Reese is polarizing, Aja Wilson is elite but doesn't draw casuals, Paige has hype but hasn't proven she can carry an entire league. Without Caitlyn, everything collapses back into obscurity, sponsorships dry up, television networks lose interest, and ticket sales vanish overnight. Sophie's words weren't just a hot take, they were a serious warning shot, a glimpse of the reality the league is too scared to face. Caitlyn Clark has more opportunities outside the WNBA than inside it, and that flips the entire power dynamic. The question isn't whether the league can keep her happy. The question is whether Caitlyn even thinks this league is worth her time anymore. And that is the nightmare scenario the WNBA created for itself by failing to protect its brightest star. So the only thing left to ask is simple: does Caitlyn Clark stay and fight through the chaos, or does she walk away and take the future of women's basketball with her?